Have you digested everything? Have you been watching these videos furiously? How about the news coverage? Have you ever even just flip over to like a CNN or MSNBC to just watch how absolutely insane the coverage is? Um, a few things right off the bat. What happened at the Capitol yesterday is unequivocally wrong. It's terrible. They should not have stormed the Capitol, period. And law enforcement should deal with them properly. They should be held accountable. I also want to say that while some leftist here or there may have infiltrated the Trump rally, overwhelmingly, we see evidence that it's just not Antifa that did this at all in any way, shape, or form. In fact, some very prominent social media streamers using platforms maybe you've heard of like TikTok, because some have even been kicked off of other platforms, were just streaming themselves. These are people who call themselves freedom fighters, the far right, whatever it may be, and they were there in the Capitol either taking selfies at Nancy Pelosi's desk or streaming themselves while a woman was shot and killed. So that's where we're at, okay? What happened was wrong. It should not have happened. They'll be held accountable, and this is not Antifa. I want to now draw your attention to something that is that should make you irate. I'll ask you, Katrina and Ian, you listening now, how do Democrats react to, a year of riots, Antifa, BLM protests, which may have started with the greatest intentions, which I have recognized every time when we talk about Black Lives Matter. However, they always devolved into rioting and looting and torching cities. What do Democrats do? Distance themselves? No. What do Democrats do when it came to Antifa? People who were there openly supporting Democrats going against Republicans. Did Democrats say, I just want to reject that, we all need to unite? No. What's happening today? What are Republicans doing? Republicans are doing what they often do, which is, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And now we need to unite, and we need to bend to the will of Democrats. It should make you furious. Look, what happened? Again, wrong, terrible. I've got no other words. It's just, it should not have ever happened. I mean, not only should have not happened just because we respect law and order, but I'll also tell you that now this is me just being raw when it comes to the politics of this. It just puts everybody in a garbage position if you're a Republican or conservative. This will be an unfortunate part of Donald Trump's legacy. It just will. It is going to affect Donald Trump and his family moving forward, further away from some of the things that I've been explaining that I thought that they would do, and they're going to move to Florida. They're moving here to the state of Florida where they could become power brokers. But when you look at political chips, unfortunately for Donald Trump, because a very small fraction of people within those protests did what they did, unfortunately, it takes away some of those political chips. And that's reflected in when you see someone like a Iraq war veteran, Tom Cotton, like literally one of the most conservative dudes you've got in the United States Congress. He's a senator from Arkansas, backing away from him. Because here's what that signifies. Again, right now, I'm just dealing with the politics of this. I'll return to the cultural aspect of it, the trash media coverage of this, the way that the media covered peaceful, mostly peaceful. People, for months, the cities were burning, but now this is all a fraction of people leads to insurrection. But to go back to Tom Cotton again, just sticking with the politics of this, here's what that signifies, all right? I'm getting a little into the weeds here, nerding out a little. What people, many senators or members of the House even, anybody who's got their eye on running for president in 2024, because you bet, there's a whole lot of people that have their eyes set on that prize. It's Tom Cotton, Marco Rubio, Rick Scott, a boatload of others. But Tom Cotton, in doing what he's doing now by saying, rejecting this and having not always flattering words for President Trump, what that signifies is he's not scared, that he does not believe that that Donald Trump can bring down the holy hell that he used to, or whether or not President Donald Trump will become a kingmaker in 24, or whether or not Donald Trump runs in 24. So there's kind of the political fallout of what happened and what will continue to unfold. Now, in looking at what happened all summer, Antifa and BLM, following every major BLM protest in the United States this summer, in major cities were burned, cities were looted, people's private property was destroyed. You know who got hurt the most? Minority business owners. Their livelihoods gone, trashed, gone. And the coverage of that, as I'm about to use the literally, as literally, you've seen the video, a reporter standing in front of a city on fire behind him and reporting, these are mostly peaceful protests. Then the reporting of what happened yesterday. What the media is doing, and the left is pushing them to do so very specifically, is this is an attempt to blame all conservatives, all Republicans, or any single one of you that voted for Donald Trump. This is your fault. That's the narrative right now. You are responsible. Now, it's the overarching narrative. Now, you heard it before. I mean, you hear some pundits go on. We've had clips of idiots on MSNBC like, well, if you voted for Donald Trump, you are clearly a Nazi. Okay, let's just break that apart in 2 seconds. I mean, every single person that voted, what you're saying is that they want to throw a Jewish people to the wolves to die. I mean, the level of rhetoric and the way that it has cheapened words like Nazi and Holocaust and even the word racist is just sad. But you've heard that if you simply cast a vote for, let's make it very simple, a Republican nominee, then it makes you on par with Hitler. That's now the national narrative. It's no longer some pundits here and there. I mean, Ian was collecting screenshots of CNN over the past 24 hours. CNN has utilized this as a racial wedge issue. Okay, this is all about race. How race got involved in it is beyond me, but they're able to do it. CNN was able to take protesters who were upset, by the way, at Republicans. These are Donald Trump Republicans who were upset with other Republicans who wouldn't do enough, as they claimed, to delegitimize, shut down, not accept the electors of the states. They charged and barraged and went through and pierced and got into the Capitol. But it's about black and white with CNN. And then it's brought back to all Trump supporters, all conservatives, all Republicans.
That's what the little R means.
That's right. And what that does, and really where it effectively helps the Democrats now shifting into not just politics, but actual policy, is that you have this major push, which makes Republicans completely irrelevant. I mean, if you thought that your opinion as a, often self-deprecatingly a joke about a white male Republican didn't matter there because you're mansplaining, you're white-splaining, you're doing whatever. Now you're doomed. Now, if you simply are a Republican, everything's been completely invalidated by a very select few people who bum rushed the Capitol. The types of screenshots he got that Ian took here, these are what's called a chyron or lower third, a fancy term for what you read at the bottom of the screen. And it's Trump pressured Pence on coup, then threw him to the lions. Black protesters would have been treated very differently. I will come back to that, by the way. Arrests underway in Trump-inspired attack on Capitol. House Dems circulating articles of impeachment after attack. Trump and GOP enablers fuel Capitol coup attempt. Insurrection. I'm going to return to the way that Black Lives Matter protests and Antifa were covered. In fact, Joe Biden talked about it today. But really, once again, very much on display, you see that CNN in particular here has no interest in just like even on their chyron, which is typically a very mundane type of thing, like Trump to address crowd. Hurricane hits Mexico. Like congressman arrested on charges of,
Coming up next on Hannity.
Exactly. Those are chyrons. But now they're not facts. These are now just straight up opinions. Trump pressured Pence and threw him to the lions? I mean, so this is where we're at. When we come back, we're going to hear from actually Joe Biden playing the race card and talking about these protests. We'll talk about that. We'll get to calls as soon as we can as well. Phone lines are open, 239-479-5592. I'm Trey Radel. This is The Drive.
This is 92.5 Fox
Trey
News.
Radel, your host of The Drive here. Sex. I have your attention, don't I? Well, in studio with us to talk about just that, Dr. Michael P. Varvaris. You visit him online, michaelpvarvarismd.com. Doctor, good to have you here today. Let's talk a little bit about female sex hormones. What a topic.
Well, first off, you need to realize that hormones move around in the blood while they work in the tissue. And what really matters is your tissue level and not your blood level. So when you're taking estradiol or progesterone, whether it's a tablet, an injection, a cream, or a pellet, the blood level is pretty much worthless. Now, doctors usually don't understand this, and patients end up getting horribly overdosed. Now, oral estrogen has been associated with cancer, heart disease, liver disease. Many doctors even use birth control pills for this. And these things contain synthetic hormones, which are basically a kind of poison. Most doctors will use estradiol alone if the patient doesn't have a uterus, not realizing that every cell in a woman's body needs a balance of estradiol combined with progesterone. So if you're a woman, you're on postmenopausal sex hormones, and your doctor is measuring blood levels or putting you on oral estrogen or using birth control pills, you really do need to see me.
You can visit the doctor online. He's located right north of Naples, an easy spot to get to no matter where you're at in Southwest Florida. MichaelPVarvarisMD.com.
Are you looking to build a boat dock, boat lift, or a seawall? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson of Williamson Brothers Marine Construction. My brother Joe and I, along with our children, represent the fourth generation of a tradition that began with my grandfather back in 1967. And it's a tradition of building something that you can be proud to put your name on. If you need a boat dock, boat lift, or seawall, call Williamson Brothers at 844-WB-BUILT. Our docks, boat lifts, and seawalls are constructed with materials that pass the test of time. We only use stainless steel fasteners, marine-grade aluminum boat lifts, and the strongest deck board in the industry, Wear Deck. It's the last deck board you'll ever need. And lastly, our seawalls. We build them with enough concrete and steel that they come with a lifetime warranty. If you need a boat dock, boat lift,
Don't go anywhere. We're back in 1 minute.
Brothers at 844-WB-BUILT. We're online at WBDocs.com. That's WBDocs.com.
So, you're in the market for new appliances. You have a choice. You can chase around sizing up refrigerators, opening oven.
Oh, crap. Gave a statement and walked off.
What?
No questions. Over.
Standards and the prices are fair. Or you can go to Good Deals Appliances. Starting at Good Deals Appliances makes all the sense in the world. They feature the...
Wow, that was the press conference. They came out and gave a quick statement in the press conference, and then she closed the book and she walked off. So we will not be taking the press conference. Wow, there you go. So, okay, we're back here in about 20 seconds.
Beat it. Every time, guaranteed. When you need appliances, make your first stop your last stop. Good Deals Appliances. 3 locations to serve you. 41 at Gladiolus in Fort Myers, Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, and on Naples Boulevard near Lowe's and Costco in Naples.
Good Deals Appliances. Have we got a deal for you?
92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
It's 5:21 here on 92.5 Fox News. Trey Radel, your host of The Drive here. Let's take a listen to Joe Biden, who a lot of whataboutism going on here on both sides. It really should. I think actually whataboutism plays a role in exposing the media for what a trash job it's done and the way that it covers the news, depending on what fits their narrative. Let's take a listen to Joe Biden.
No one can tell me that if had been a group of Black Lives Matter protesting yesterday, they wouldn't have been treated very, very differently than the mob of thugs that stormed the Capitol.
It's true. If Black Lives Matter would have been there, they would have been praised by the media, praised by the Democratic Party. You could make the case it would have been more destructive. Nobody would have been charged. In fact, Kamala Harris would have led the charge to bail them out of jail, as she specifically did. Do you know, when you look back at that, specifically in the city of Minneapolis, there were murderers and pedophiles and men who beat women who were bailed out of jail after being arrested for burning down that city, looting that city, and rioting in that city. The coverage was appalling, or lack thereof. I mean, my God, in the city of Chicago, you had a march that took place from the south side, went up Michigan Avenue. And while you have people like AOC tweeting out like these people are just hungry for bread and water, they're looting friggin' Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And by the way, saying that it's their rightful place to do so. The BLM specific organizers in the city of Chicago said that this was part of reparations. You see any of that? I talked with a friend from D.C. and this is, it just left such an impression on me. During the height of the riots in the city, the District of Columbia burning, my buddy was getting texts from people all over. Are you okay? Are you all right? You know, D.C., like a lot of major cities, you know, people live right there in the district, and you got your various neighborhoods, and they all are right on top of each other. In D.C., you know, again, like a lot of major cities, you can have a good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, high price neighborhood, low, whatever it may be. So my buddy's getting texts in May. My buddy is living through this in May, and nobody is texting him. DC's on fire. Like restaurants, stores are being trashed, traffic is being stopped, people are attacking cars, fires are being lit. All of this happening at the peak of the craziness this year. And my buddy's like, I didn't get calls from anyone while the District of Columbia was literally burning. Yesterday happens, and he is barraged. The whole world, people from all over the United States are concerned about my buddy's safety. What's going on there? Are you okay? Are you near the Capitol? What's going on? Why? Because it was on the news. Our cities, including fires, rioting and looting in Miami, Orlando, small scale in Tampa, move to Atlanta, keep going all the way up the eastern seaboard. And all of them, all major cities had fires, rioting, even if they were small scale, and looting to some degree as well. The reporting on that, it's justified. It's brave. This incident, this horrific stain on American history that happened yesterday at the Capitol has been a long time coming. It is wrong. It is terrible. And I've already, if you're just joining us, laid out the ways that it's horrible, not only just for law and order, for the supporting the men and women who work in law enforcement, but also politically. Because of the very select few idiots that charged through the barricades, that went into the Capitol, it also bears a cost politically for not only Republicans in general, conservatives in general, but Donald J. Trump himself. Consequences across the board. It's all bad. And in reflecting on it, looking at it, now that you and I, we've all had some time to breathe, I keep coming back to what has been said about conservatives in general, Trump voters in general, and what's been asked of people, including from Maxine Waters, rallying for people to attack Trump supporters, including those in Washington, D.C. that work within the administration. Nancy Pelosi asking, why isn't there more violence? Kamala Harris, who is about to be the vice president, out there now saying, who is all summer long encouraged more rioting and looting. These are prominent people. These are senators, Speaker of the House, and high-ranking members of Congress who have repeatedly encouraged violence against the right. And meantime, the right, through all of these protests at state capitals, protesting COVID lockdowns, or people so-called on the right who watched as their businesses burned, sat back and didn't do anything. People lost their minds yesterday, and that's where we are at today. We'll be right back. This is The Drive. Callers, we're going to get to you in this next segment. Stick around. 479-5592.
92.5 Fox News.
It's a hot afternoon, and you're listening to the news. And now you're hot under the collar, too. I'm Matt from Island Air. When you choose an AC contractor, you're entrusting that company with the air that you and your family breathe. A healthy unit means a healthier household. Island Air has a long history in Southwest Florida and hundreds of customer reviews that you can see on our website at islandairfl.com, where you will see the Island Air difference. Want to try us out? Our $99 System Saver one-time maintenance is guaranteed. If your AC breaks within 6 months of the maintenance, we will credit the payment towards any repair. Island Air also offers free second opinions. Let us review your quote for any service, replacement, or repair for your peace of mind.
IslandAirFL.com. That's IslandAirefL.com. Island.
Hey, everybody online. In the last break, we were getting set to take a press briefing from the White House. And we were getting all set up for that. And Press Secretary McInerney walked out, gave a 3-minute statement, closed the book, and walked away. No questions from the press. So we decided not to take it. That's what you heard there. So we'll be back here in about 3 minutes.
Security solutions, or stay productive with 24/7 support. We've got the solutions you need for your business to get there. So make this year's resolution better solutions. Bounce forward with Comcast Business. Help your business bounce forward with an amazing offer from Comcast Business to kick off 2021. Get started with a powerful and reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business for $35 each a month for 24 months for 2 years when you buy both. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com today to find out more. Offer ends 2/7/21. Restrictions apply. Limited to new Comcast Business 35 megabits per second internet and one voice mobility customers. Early termination fee applies. Enrollment in EcoBill and autopay required.
When you're looking for a career change, what's important to you? Health insurance, dental, vision, wages, working conditions, paid time off, or an opportunity for growth? My Shower Door offers all of these, plus more. For the past 5 years, My Shower Door has continued to grow throughout Florida, and this growth requires top candidates. If you or someone you know is interested in making a career change, apply at myshowerdoor.com/careers and take that first step towards your new career path.
Fox News, I'm Rich Dennison. There are calls for President Trump's removal from office through impeachment or the 25th Amendment by some Democrats and Republicans. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says the president's actions led to yesterday's deadly violence on Capitol Hill.
President Trump's lies fed the crowd. He directed their anger at Capitol Hill, and his demagoguery whipped them into a frenzy.
A number of Trump administration officials have resigned, citing the president's role in yesterday's violence, including Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. An investigation is underway into suspected pipe bombs found yesterday near the Republican and Democratic National Committee D.C. headquarters.
2 law enforcement sources have told Fox that the devices were not fakes, that they were, quote, the real deal, and the ATF rendered the devices safe.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America is listening to Fox News.
This Wink News Update is presented by Island Air. High-quality AC repair and installation. Online at islandairefl.com.
Now, this is a Wink News Update.
I'm Lois Tomey with Wink News. All appointments for the NCH coronavirus vaccine distribution this week filled up within 10 minutes of sign-up starting. Many people reported issues logging onto the website to book their appointment. NCH says the surge of people trying to register caused the website to run slow or not at all. NCH plans to announce more vaccination dates soon. The Florida Department of Health in Collier County says it will offer new vaccination appointments next week. You can schedule a spot starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. You can find a link to do that on the Wink News app under the Vaccine Schedule tab. A teen was arrested accused of robbing a Circle K gas station on Skyline in Cape Coral. Witnesses say the teen had a gun on him. Police say he stole several e-cigarette cartridges, and when they arrested him, he had the cartridges, but they didn't find the gun. I'm Lois Tomey. Wink News Now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Well, we're watching a weak cold front approach southwest Florida. We're going to have a couple of showers tonight. Nothing too significant on the rain side, but I do expect to see at least some isolated rain overnight, mainly between midnight and 3 to 4 a.m. Start the day off with some clouds, becoming partly cloudy and only 72 for the high on your Friday. Then it gets cooler, 52 to start the weekend Saturday morning. Both weekend afternoons are going to be in the 60s, 66 degrees on Saturday, 67 degrees on Sunday, and Sunday morning is going to be the cold one at 45 degrees. For Wink News, the Weather Authority, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jim Farrell.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. When you need an expert to help navigate that home loan process, Rocket can.
Welcome to the world of smart floors. Be inspired by Naples' newest and best floor gallery with the highest quality of floor coverings. Smart Floors is celebrating the opening of their new location next to Home Goods in the Park Shore Plaza. For the best in carpet, ceramic tile, hardwood, and luxury vinyl, let Smart Floors inspire you. Visit smartfloorsusa.com.
When shopping for new floor, we stand for so much more. Smart service, smart prices, smart floors.
92.5 Fox News. Right all along.
It's 5:34 here on 92.5 Fox News. Trey Riddle, your host of The Drive. Some questions coming in, including one from an old friend in Cincinnati, Felicia. Trey, what's your advice? Where do we go from here? I'm not going to BS you. I just don't see any kind of quick, like, hey, let's all unify. If there were another 9/11, we'd be at each other's throats right away on how we handle things politically, I think, pretty quickly. It took a while after 9/11. Things began to devolve and people moved their separate ways, and then George W. Bush went from being one of the highest approved presidents in all of history to the lowest because he became Hitler, as the left deemed him as they strung him up in effigy and put a mustache on him and burned him in the Capitol grounds. This is not going to unify us. And these Republicans today who are like, let's just all calm down and unify, that's when Democrats jump. Yeah. So here's what that means in the Democrats' mind. And by the way, I got to give it to Democrats. They are and will do a great job utilizing this politically. I don't agree with it. I think it's terrible. But Democrats right now are on a roll. They just won Georgia, the state of Georgia. 2 seats in a runoff election. In runoff elections or special elections, ones that do not take place in a normal like presidential cycle, historically, Democrats underperform every time. And they killed it. They control the Senate, the House, and soon the White House. And they are going to utilize this. They're going to utilize what happened yesterday for political gains as long as they can push it. And with the media out there doing what they're doing today, as we've just described in the first 36 minutes of this show, the media, I am sickened, obviously, of the way that the media has covered this, and it's not engaging in apples and oranges to compare the way, or lack thereof, when it came to coverage all summer long of our cities burning, not holding Democrats accountable yet. Some people break through barricades yesterday into the Capitol, and suddenly every single person who voted for Donald Trump needs to be held accountable. They're going to utilize this in ways that are unforeseen right now. So to kind of come back to where do we go from here? Look, I have condemned over and over what happened yesterday. It's terrible. Where things get even more dangerous is, I think it starts with what's happened so far as we see the cultural shift. But if you start seeing policy shift of severe limitations, for example, whether it's Biden decides I'm going to go with a crazy tax burden. I'm going to enact the Green New Deal, which is going to blow up the cost of your car, your house, retrofitting, whatever. I'm going to tax you to death. I'm going to tell you that we're going to have mask mandates. COVID will be used in ways, again, totally unforeseen, to tell people where they can or cannot go, just like the Prime Minister of the UK is doing right now. All of that, I think, gets very dangerous, especially when you start taking people's stuff. And then you get into these things that Democrats have flirted with, like, yeah, we're going to enact hate speech laws. Trust me, Dems don't get covered under hate speech laws. It's this radio station and you, streaming or listening, and the Second Amendment. If Biden starts pulling executive orders to limit what you can buy to protect your family, your own life, and your private property, that's where things, I think, go south. 99% of my political philosophy is don't take my stuff and don't hurt anyone. Leave me the hell alone. I want to get the calls now, but I'll wrap that little rant up with this. The reason that we're all psychotic in many ways is because government extends itself way too far into our lives. If government was limited government and removed, and we weren't looking at decisions being made by government as literally life or death, because the left looks at it, many different decisions, as life or death. Let's just look at some examples, some that I think are hilariously ignorant, and others that are being utilized in a smart political way to destroy the Republican Party and enact various forms of socialism. I start with that, climate change. You have people, an entire generation of people being brought up right now, being told that unless the government does something, you're going to die. You're dead. You are going to die. And so you have these generation like an AOC who comes up and says, like, totally, we have like 12 years to live or we're all going to die. That's me paraphrasing her. 10? We're at 10 now? I don't know.
I think it's 8.
8 years. So government needs to do something or we're all going to die. And when people start thinking in that mentality, government decisions are life and death decisions. It's of course, though, beyond that, government-controlled healthcare, a.k.a. single payer, a.k.a. a form of Obamacare. If we don't have this, people are going to die. If government does not control healthcare, you're going to die. That's the mentality. When you have that mentality, that's when you get, let's say, overly invested emotionally in your government. Now, I will also say that I think in many ways, President Obama and President Trump cultivated a following that at times has been fanatical to the point where, we can always, let me just give one example. Me criticizing the spending that happened under the Trump administration. It's crazy because after 8 years of conservatives bitching about Obama spending their grandchildren into oblivion and Obama's debt going to cripple this country, we're at $28 trillion right now. Screw the pandemic, remove the pandemic. Under the Trump administration, with, by the way, Republicans controlling the House and the Senate in the first 2 years, they blew up deficits. Now, I'm simply calling attention to facts. But what happens? You're a traitor. You should be strung up by your toenails and bled to death. Why? Because you talked about the Trump administration spending money. It's a fact. Again, fanatical. We invest ourselves way too much into these people. Look, I am an enormous fan of Donald Trump, the way that he handled the media, what he's done, all of that. I'm there. I'm with you. I think the things that he did for the economy with another 4 years would have been unbelievable. We are where we are right now. And that fanaticism, that being too much invested in government brings us to where we're at. Let me get the calls. Phone number is 239-479-5592. Jennifer in Fort Myers. Jennifer, you were in D.C. yesterday. Were you at the rally?
Yeah, I was.
What did you see?
You're absolutely right. It was not BLM by any means, and you guys, everybody's talked about the bad, so I just want to focus on what actually was good. There was, hundreds of thousands of people who were peaceful and happy, and it was a great time. And we listened to his speech. He laid out the fraud. He said, can you peacefully go? He used the word peacefully. You can all see. Go to the Capitol and, essentially support Congress while they debate. And so we all went. It was about 2:30. Everybody's still peaceful. It was amazing. And we were all unified. And then you got the news that Pence had defied Trump. And I think that that's where it kind of started getting a little iffy, and it still was 1% of anybody, and you just heard it, but nobody was doing anything. And there was these random guys that were running around, and they would say, keep moving forward, storm the Capitol, and it was just like this very small percentage of people. I mean, literally like three guys were kind of running around trying to get people to do things, and nobody was listening to them. We all just were standing there with our flags. The people who got up onto the Capitol, onto the inauguration stage, once they got there, they just stood in line like they were at choir practice with their flags. They didn't do anything. They were all just standing there in line in unity. And so, they may have trespassed by doing that. And then obviously other people broke in, and who knows what those people were thinking or doing. But that was not what it was about. We were all there. Just
Jennifer, look, and I know that today, it's already been kind of a heavy show, and I have dwelled on some of the very negative things that will come about from this, that have come about, et cetera. I want to, though, note that what the overwhelming majority of people were there for yesterday was to support our great country and to support President Trump. And we had a call yesterday at the top of the 5 from a woman from Naples who was there in D.C., who we spoke with live as well on the air. And Jennifer, there's something very important that you highlighted in this that I also want to draw everyone's attention to, which is the members of Congress, the members in the House and the Senate were there to do something pretty damn mundane, which is debate, which is to to look at electors and decide whether or not they were going to object to them or not, which, by the way, I want to note that Democrats have done 3 times in just the last 15 years. So this is really, it's procedural. That's what it all started as. And then and with it, you have this moment where Americans come together to celebrate this country. They want to support their president, even if some of them knew, these are probably the final weeks of the Trump presidency, and wanting to do anything that they could. But here we are. And she also highlighted, I think very importantly, the fact that mob mentality took over. Ian, we talked a little bit about that, about how you get a few dudes, like she's saying there, hey, come on, let's go on up. Let's just push up a little bit. And next thing you know is you've got people who otherwise alone are just good law-abiding citizens, have no previous records whatsoever. And next thing you know, you are frigging beelining to break through a perimeter and enter the Capitol. The Capitol, a sacred building, and looking at armed officers who the overwhelming majority of us for years have said, back the blue, we respect law and order, and it went out the window. Mark and LaBelle. Mark, you're on the drive. I don't know what happened there. It looks like they hung up actually when we answered. You can try back in. Chris in Fort Myers. Hello, Chris. You're on the drive.
Hey, before I put my tinfoil hat on, Second Chance Act needs a refrigerator as a donation. So my tinfoil hat, I'm afraid of what happens next. Okay. Which part there's a nonprofit there. They give peanut butter and jellies out to homeless people. The refrigerator went out today. They need a refrigerator. It's the old Surf City pet store across from College and 41 next to Taco Bell.
All right. I mean, typically if I do some, I would have go here, go there. But okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I'm just putting the word out. Okay. But my tinfoil hat, what happens next? Are we looking at something worse than the Pinkerton riots, but a little less than Tiananmen Square? Because I know I've heard rumblings that if people go to the next one, they might want to bring stuff. And that ends poorly when you have two groups armed facing off with each other. And that's my biggest fear right now.
I hope not. I don't look. I don't think that violence is the answer. No. Has violence been an answer in American history? Absolutely. But look, let me just. I want to go back to me just being kind of having third grade logic here of something that I even talked about a little bit earlier, which is just don't take my stuff. Don't impede on my freedoms. And, we can talk about disagreements with the policies of the Democrats today. I do believe that they are inching more and more toward socialism. I think that's dangerous. I think most of America rejects that. I still fully believe that we are a center-right country. And I do not advocate violence in any way, shape, or form for anything at all that we've seen. I believe that violence should be used if violence is used against me. Now, the question is, again, if in fact we get to, here comes my tinfoil hat, if we get to Joe Biden assuming the presidency and those insane people of the squad and the insane left pushing him to do stuff that even he's uncomfortable with, for example, start issuing executive orders that either impede on the First Amendment or impede on the Second Amendment, that is where I get very, very worried. Is it Lalo? Lalo? Yo, Lalo. Hello, Lalo, Lalo, and Amakli, you there? Hello? Hello? All right, you're done. You lose. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Can't just call us and put us on hold. What's up, Joe in the Cape?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, man. You know what? The problem I'm having with this whole thing,
I had a chance to hit the big time in 2004, and I won't name the guy at the rock star. The he says, here's the thing: you either hit the charts with a song or you hit the door. There's no middle ground to fight up. If you would look at Joe Biden like a rock star, the record company would drop him like a bad habit. Nobody went to his show. So what's going to happen is we're just going to start all over again. We have put up with these politicians, dude, for decades. And I'm sick of it. We're all sick of it. Violence, I don't think, is the answer. I disagree with what happened yesterday. The flip side of that in the future may look like, I hope not, but it may look like, well, there are probably were a couple of colonial people that disagreed with going to war for the revolution too. And when all that was over, they were wrong. So
who was wrong? They were wrong for saying no. We should not revolt.
We shouldn't go to war with the British, right? They got a powerful navy. They got powerful troops. We're not even trained. No, let's just don't do that.
Okay, so are you advocating for some kind of secession in some way? Like what do you and who are you fighting?
I'm on the Trump train. Here's the thing: when I had a guy that was 100 years old that stormed the beach at Normandy, and he said that 5 years ago, that daggone Hillary Clinton gets elected, we're screwed. That's all I need to hear. I don't need to hear the polls, the CBN, the CSN, the Fox, or the offense, but I don't need to hear any report. I know who I'm voting for. This guy saw Roosevelt get in. But I think what's happened is the relationship between the politicians playing the abusive boyfriend and the American people playing the girlfriend that just puts up with it. When Trump got elected, they broke up, and now we got back together, so to speak, if I could give that analogy.
Joe, look, I hear you. I agree with you, and what you're saying makes a lot of sense when it comes to the Washington institution. If you just take a look at that absolute trash omnibus bill that was passed, I truly cannot even still today comprehend how terrible that bill was, where we are such an irresponsible country, so loaded with money, although it's really not real money, it's all debt and fake money, that we're throwing out billions with a B of dollars to countries that hate us. Not only to countries that hate us in the name of security, but also to countries that hate us in the name of gender studies. Like, just wrap your head around that for a second, and then rest assured that they're going to give you rat droppings of $600 of your own money. It's often not conservative versus liberal, but Americans versus the Washington machine. And you're right, man. We are back to being abused by that machine again. 239-479-5592. I'm Trey Riddle. Be right back.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
This Fox News Business Report is presented by Big Island Builders, whose reputation for quality homes at a fair price is unsurpassed in Naples.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages closing at record highs on stimulus optimism. The Dow cracking the 31,000 level for the first time, while the Nasdaq traded above 13,000. The Dow rising 212 points, the Nasdaq up 327, S&P 500 up 56. And Boeing will be forking over $2.5 billion to resolve the Justice Department's investigation into two deadly 737 MAX crashes. And American Express shares fell after the Wall Street Journal reported that federal investigators are probing business card sales practices at the company. The investigation is focusing on whether Amex allegedly used aggressive and misleading sales tactics to sell cards to business owners and whether customers were harmed. And Tesla stock zooming toward an all-time high after an RBC Capital analyst said that a blue Senate will be a potential game changer for the electric car maker. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Newsmax TV is the biggest thing on cable news, with shows including Dick Morris, Rudy Giuliani, Michelle Malkin, Diamond and Silk, Mike Huckabee, Alan Dershowitz, and more. Every night, watch Newsmax's #1 show, Greg Kelly Reports. Greg Kelly tells you the truth about Trump. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. Check your guide or tell your operator you want Newsmax. 30 million Americans watch Newsmax TV. And download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. It's free, so get Newsmax TV anytime, anywhere.
Hi, my name is Jay, president of Big Island Builders. You know, I come from a long line of builders. In fact, I can still remember my first day on the job, working for my dad. I thought because I was the boss's son that I would start out in the construction trailer, looking over plans all day. Well, to my surprise, he handed me a shovel and he said, "Start digging." And that's exactly what I did. He made me learn every aspect of the building process by doing it. So if that's the kind of builder that you're looking for, look no further than Big Island Builders. BigIslandBuilders.com. Hi, this is Jay, president of Big Island Builders. I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of the wonderful employees that make up the Big Island Builders team. I constantly get calls from our customers with positive feedback. When I started this company years ago, I dreamed of assembling a team of professionals that would radically change the home building process. People that look you in the eyes, tell you the truth, and have passion about what they do. That is the Big Island team. Visit us at BigIslandBuilders.com.
Dial star 2020. Friends Eye Care.
Trey Radel, your host of The Drive here. I've told you about my experience with Friends Eye Care and my LASIK procedure. It undoubtedly changed my life, but my family's gone there for cataract surgery as well. And Friends Eye Care offers all sorts of services when it comes to cataract surgery. The Vivity lens is an enhancement option that helps patients achieve an extended depth of focus. That means better night vision, clear distance vision, and more after cataract surgery. Now, Dr. France is the first surgeon in Southwest Florida to bring you this revolutionary technology of Vivity. In doing so, he's providing you with yet another option to meet the needs of what you specifically need. Dr. France and his team of surgical specialists at France Eye Care will guide you and take care of you, just like they've taken care of me and my family. Don't let cataracts hold you back. Call France Eye Care today. Dial star 2020 from your cell phone or call them at 239-418-0999.
France Eye Care.
Hey, Alexa, play 92.5 Fox News.
Six o'clock hour coming up next, and I've got a doozy to play for you. Yeah. It really is amazing when you listen to buzzwords of the media as an event take shape. And they're very powerful. Do you know that there have been studies that show, like in the last 4 years, the rise of words or phrases such as white privilege, mansplaining, white-splaining, systemic racism. These are words that have actually been measured in the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC. Those four that I've named are actually the top users of that phraseology or those words over and over. And it's crazy. You watch the line as it measures from whenever data started getting collected on semantics. And you look from 1950 or whatever, and you don't see really anything. Maybe like this tiny little bump up in the 1990s at the max. And then boom, 2016 hits. And they skyrocket upwards. When we come back, we got all sorts of new words that are going to be used over and over. Insurrection. Sounds like an adult film. The fully engorged Capitol insurrection. Maybe a video game. What do you think? Callers will get to you as well, but we are going to we're going to hear a little bit from the media and also what Anderson Cooper thinks of you. Hint, if you eat at Olive Garden, you might be pissed. Phone number is 239-479-5592. I'm Trey Radel. Be right back.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
It's Fred Kobe with your Kobe Cooling Tip of the Day. I hear air conditioning commercials all the time talking about air quality and mold. Your average air conditioning guy is not an expert in air quality or mold. As an actual expert with more than 30 credentials in air quality and related subjects, I can tell you with absolute certainty that if you want an air quality expert, call me. I actually am one. Don't buy into the hype about mold and duct cleaning. Call me and get the truth at 239-482-1542. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm actually an expert, not just selling snake oil. When you think air conditioning companies, we hope you think of Kobe Cooling. No nonsense and no pressure. We're the company your neighbors use. Kobe, the most trusted name in the business since 1949. License CACO 57313.
Dr. Svetlana Kogan here, a board-certified internal medicine concierge physician on Fifth Avenue South in Naples. I'd like to wish all of our Southwest Florida friends and neighbors a happy and joyful new year. I love the camaraderie that made our community shine in 2020, and I will continue to do my bit to strengthen my patients' health and resilience in 2021. When I'm treating you, I don't stare at the computer screen, but face you, addressing your concerns, your lifestyle, and your nutrition, treating you as a whole person. I believe that less medication is better, and use natural, holistic approach whenever possible. Health is your most important asset, and the new year is a perfect time to give it the expert attention and time it deserves. Visit my website, customlongevity.com. That's customlongevity.com to learn about how I, Dr. Svetlana Kogan, can help you feel healthy and balanced again.
92.5 WFSX Estero. It's 6 o'clock on Southwest Florida's news and talk station, 92.5 Fox News.
Now, this is a Wink News update.
I'm Lois Tomey with Wink News. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis renewed calls to crack down on violent protests in our state. It would eliminate bail in those cases and stiffer penalties. He first introduced the plan in September after a summer of Black Lives Matter protests. Governor DeSantis said yesterday's assault on the Capitol was totally unacceptable. Florida reported nearly 20,000 new coronavirus cases today. It is the highest single-day total since the start of the pandemic. 1,000 of those are in Southwest Florida. The state also reported 164 new deaths connected to COVID. There's a beach hazard warning in effect through Friday evening. The National Weather Service in Miami issued the warning for red tide. They warned there is a possible respiratory irritant in some coastal areas of Collier County, and we've seen high levels of the bacteria there and clumps of dead fish. I'm Lois Tomey. Wink News Now.
Wink Weather Authority.
Well, we're watching a weak cold front approach Southwest Florida. We're going to have a couple of showers tonight. Nothing too significant on the rain side, but I do expect to see at least some isolated rain overnight, mainly between midnight and 3 to 4 a.m. Start the day off with some clouds, becoming partly cloudy and only 72 for the high on your Friday. Then it gets cooler, 52 to start the weekend Saturday morning. Both weekend afternoons are going to be in the 60s, 66 degrees on Saturday, 67 degrees on Sunday, and Sunday morning is going to be the cold one at 45 degrees. For Wink News, the Weather Authority, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jim Farrell.
Wink News at the top and bottom of the hour.
This is 92.5 Fox News.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support, and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store, and I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought him. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
All right, don't go anywhere. We're back in 2 minutes.
or fitting at the Good Feet store.
Call 552-FEET or visit us in Naples or our newest store in Fort Myers.
Hi, this is John Lawrence with CGU Homes, residential contractor in Southwest Florida. As a Naples native, my childhood is full of memories, from fishing the backwaters of the Everglades to helping my dad with home improvement projects. Today, I have the pleasure of watching my kids grow up, enjoying the same way of life. At CGU Homes, we understand building a home is more than drawings and budgets. It's about building lifelong memories for you and your family. I've been in the residential construction industry for over 20 years and have had the luxury of handpicking my team. When it comes to my team, I look for passion, innovation, and trustworthiness. You can trust CGU Homes to build with honesty and transparency through every step of the building process. So, when you're ready to start a new chapter for your family, whether it's remodeling your existing home or building a brand new one, I invite you to see some of our past projects and learn more about us at cguhomes.com. That's cguhomes.com. And God bless the USA.
Newsmax TV is the biggest thing on cable news, with shows including Dick Morris, Rudy Giuliani, Michelle Malkin, Diamond and Silk, Mike Huckabee, Alan Dershowitz, and more. Every night, watch Newsmax's #1 show, Greg Kelly Reports. Greg Kelly tells you the truth about Trump. Newsmax is on all major cable systems. Check your guide or tell your operator you want Newsmax. 30 million Americans watch Newsmax TV. And download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. It's free, so get Newsmax TV anytime, anywhere.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time, tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Getting it right every day. 92.5 Fox News. This is The Drive with Trey Radel.
6:06 here on 92.5 Fox News. Trey Radel here, your host of The Drive. If you're just joining us, we led into the 6 talking about how certain words take shape, grab hold, and become part of the American lexicon depending on what is happening politically. And that's because the news really does drive opinions. It shapes opinions. It shapes the masses. I do think that that's unfortunate. In fact, this is a bit random, but hear me out. Like, I thought that in 2016, I still believe it, the part of the election of Donald Trump was a certain finger, this one to those of you streaming, to the media in general, that a lot of America was just sick and tired of being told that you're all a bunch of buffoon idiots, you've got to vote for Hillary Clinton, there's no other option, you're all stupid. And I think that part of the rejection of the elites in general, whether you're talking about the Republican primary, the rejection of the Bush family, the rejection of, successful politicians, the rejection of the establishment in general, I believe that 16 was a rejection of a whole lot. And it ushered in Donald Trump. People sick and tired of the way things have been, the way they've been treated, the way they've been looked down upon. And so it ushers in Donald Trump, who has this burn it all down philosophy that I think, quite frankly, has been very successful for him. And I could go over like him negotiating with NATO to China, all of those. Don't have time. We're moving on. So in looking at 2020, I do, unfortunately, this is a sad takeaway, think that the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, most of the network news shows are liberal and are, in a bad way, directly influencing this country and shaping opinions. I also think what ties into that is a school system controlled by government. I mean, let's face it, that's what public schools are, government-run schools, coupled with the insane liberalism, the fascist attitudes of liberalism, what I call neo-fascism, neoliberalism on college campuses, all also does a disservice. Now, I back that up with actual data. And to go back to American lexicon, the words that we use, in just the last 4 years, since 2016, there have been these weird phrases that popped up seemingly out of nowhere that didn't exist during Barack Obama's time in office, that didn't even exist during George W. Bush's time in office. And the words are, they all have similar strains: white supremacist, systemic racism, white splaining. These words, these phrases, all, if you look at the data of them being utilized in the national media, boom, they shoot through the roof. They go straight up starting at about 2016. And they become part of the American lexicon. What do you think that does to the mindset of people? I think it also has a direct effect. We got all sorts of new words, though, now today. Let's take a listen to a supercut that we get here, courtesy of Tom Elliott on Twitter, who does these things. I mean, you're going to hear a little bit of everything. Some of my favorites. I love Joe Scarborough because it's hilarious to watch him in the morning. He drops an F-bomb at the bottom of this that we can't even use. Joe Scarborough is out of his mind. But you'll see it also intertwined with pundits, but again, prominent TV news anchors who share words that we sure haven't heard before. Let's let it roll.
Donald J. Trump called for the insurrection against the United States of America.
You talked about Al-Qaeda. What has he done in terms of incitement, right, that Osama bin Laden didn't do?
Each of these people should be shamed, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at.
The way that we in the media speak about this is so important.
Today was terrorism. We call them terrorists.
Terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
These people are not Americans.
Kevin McCarthy was on Fox calling this un-American. Marco Rubio.
I don't know. There's a lot of empty rhetoric. There's a lot of empty concern.
Hawley, I should say, of all people, had the nerve to condemn the violence that we saw today.
Josh Hawley should resign in ignominy. Ted Cruz as well. But honestly, Mitch McConnell, too.
Shame on them. Shame on those senators. They sided with domestic terrorists yesterday, and we won't forget it.
This in no way absolves them of the sin and the sins that they and the president have committed against this country.
And if Donald Trump Jr., Rudy Giuliani, and Donald Trump are not arrested today for insurrection and taken to jail and booked.
It was encouraged by our Republican colleagues, and that is why every single one of them, especially because they have been the ones trying to steal this election, that's why we are calling for them to be removed.
That last part's pretty interesting. That is a congresswoman saying that Republicans should just be removed from Congress. Just get rid of those people. I laugh about this because I'm uncomfortable when I start thinking about where this goes. We've talked about those routes I've thrown up. I have put on and removed my tinfoil hat quite a bit already in an hour and 13 minutes. But I want to draw your attention to something very specific within that supercut montage. And that's Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper. Anybody know the story of Anderson Cooper? In fact, let me do a little pop quiz here. Guess Anderson Cooper's net worth. I don't know if you know his family history. That's one thing. But as a prominent CNN anchor, he's banking, right? I mean, he's been a staple on CNN for a long time, been in war zones, worked as a correspondent, an anchor, primetime show. Any guess on his net worth? 5 million, 10 million.
Yeah,
I don't know, like maybe
20.
20 million sounds about right.
15.
Yeah.
200 million.
Wow.
Shut up.
He's a Vanderbilt.
Oh, wow.
Anderson Cooper comes from a family line of Cornelius Vanderbilt, who, by the way, when adjusted for inflation, is one of the 5 wealthiest people of all time.
Is it dirty money?
It's well, that you could that's another segment, another story.
That's another whole show.
Because it does have to do with railroad, and you could easily then begin to wade into Chinese slave labor and more. Now, let me go back though to Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper has a net worth of $200 million. Inherited, mostly inherited. $200 million. Guess his salary. What do you think he gets a year? Anyone? Quick guess. Go for it.
$1.5 million.
Oh, dude. No, way more than that.
I don't know.
$12 million a year.
Oh, wow.
$12 million a year. CNN pays him.
Wow.
When you get up to that, that's big leagues. Him, Cuomo. You look, I mean, probably when you look to like Hannity, even Shep Smith, who stepped down from Fox, banking millions. So Anderson Cooper, worth $200 million. That's his net worth. He earns a salary of $12 million a year and lives in a very pricey place in Manhattan. Did you hear what he said about you? It's very rare to really just catch a moment to hear the way that these people think about you.
Each of these people should be shamed, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at.
You hillbilly piece of trash. What is wrong with Olive Garden?
There ain't nothing wrong with Olive Garden.
No.
And Holiday Inns are kind of nice.
Effing give me unlimited breadsticks. I will chow down. I will dip that in the Alfredo. And you know what? Let me be a snob a second. I lived in Italy. I know Italian food. I know good Italian food. And I will chow down at Olive Garden. Why? Because it's good.
It is.
You know what else is good? You know what's awesome? Taco Bell. It's really, really good.
That's my favorite restaurant.
Even if you are a foodie, you recognize that Taco Bell is awesome. I know that you're a huge fan.
I love Taco Bell 3-4 times a week.
And Holiday Inn. What Anderson Cooper is saying to you is that you are an uneducated, dumbass, hillbilly, lower class, beneath him, because you go get your soup and breadsticks.
Well, in that case, thank you very much.
Yeah, whatever. I like me some
do you
soup
hear
and
that?
breadsticks.
I just like, I'm almost out of words. He says he can't help himself.
No, he can't.
Calling everyone a dumbass. You ain't got no money. You're stupid. You go and you eat at the Olive Garden and stay at your Holiday Inn. That is a direct reflection of the pompous ass that he is.
What a snob.
And right? And that's actually a good word.
Yeah, because we don't think that much of him either. So,
I mean, so what are you doing? Sitting there dining on your, what's the name of the place? See, now I'm going to get snobbery and try and pick a place in Manhattan that he would be eating at. And the reality is he's just a douche. That's what Anderson Cooper is. And everything that he thinks of you was just summed up in there. Phone number is 239-479-5592. A little breaking news before we leave you here. The D.C. police chief, Rich, come on in. You have Rich Coco in studio with us. So I want to it's Capitol Police.
Capitol Police.
Capitol Police Chief.
Chief Sund.
He's resigned.
He's resigned, I think he said effective next week. But yeah.
And Sergeant at Arms resigned today as well.
I didn't know that. He did.
Yeah, I read that today. He had been there since I knew him.
Well, if you remember, I think Gaynor used to be the Sergeant at Arms, and he had been the Capitol Police Chief before that.
Yep.
That was like a logical next step for him. But
again, I think that, tell you what, let's have you on in a little bit, and we'll go over kind of everything that happened and work through that. We're going to take a break here and be right back. This is The Drive. I'm Trey Radel.
Is 92.5 Fox
You
News.
want a new look for your kitchen, but you really dread the thought of subjecting your home and family to the mess and fuss created by weeks of remodeling? Cornerstone Builders has the solution. They can give your kitchen an entirely new look in a matter of days, not weeks. Stand by for the phone number to schedule your free in-home consultation. Cornerstone will save you a lot of time and thousands of dollars with a custom kitchen reface. This 4-step process includes 15 cabinet doors, 5 drawer fronts, and includes relaminating your cabinet exteriors, plus new hinges and new knobs or handles. Best part? The price. Just $38.20 for a beautiful thermofoil reface or $78.20 for maple wood reface. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation. 239-332-3020. That's 332-3020. 239-332-3020. Cornerstone Builders in Fort Myers, Naples, and Marco Island. With 30 years and 22,000 satisfied customers, you know they're gonna wow you.
Call the boys at National Exterminators. I'm putting out a new contract on Bugsy the Roach, Ratso the Rat, Tony the Termite, and the Anthill Mob.
Okay, Godfather, but ain't that gonna cost us a lot?
No! National Exterminators just told me they'll whack anyone for only $46.
Only $46?
Get it done!
Operator, get me Bugsy the Roach, Tony the Termite, and the Anthill Mob on the phone fast.
Yeah, hello, she. Who's this?
This better be important.
Yeah, talk, Ratso, we're listening.
Seems like the Godfather put out a contract on all of us.
How much is this contract?
$46. 46 smackers. The boys of National Exterminators are out now looking for all of us.
We better run.
It looks like curtains for me, boys.
Got pest of your own you want to whack? Call the boys at National Exterminators. Just dial 239-46-NO-BUG. National Exterminators. Prompt, polite, and professional. Just call 46-NO-BUG and 46nobug.com.
National Exterminators.
You've heard it before. We beat the competition. So many businesses say that now. But how many companies actually ask you to call the competition and then compare their windows to Window World windows? We will come into your home, or you can come to our showroom, and we'll give you an honest, fair, free estimate of what it would take to upgrade your windows to more energy-efficient windows. No tricks, no high pressure. We want you happy with your new windows, not feeling like you were forced into buying them.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. We offer you top quality windows at the best price available with the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business.
If something goes wrong with your new windows, we'll fix it, even if the neighborhood kids accidentally hit a baseball through it or anything else. Window World quality windows, great price. Even hurricane-rated impact windows are available to offer an increased level of security to your home. Call Window World today.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Keeping you rooted in the truth. 92.5 Fox News.
Let's get to a call here. Wayne in Naples. Hey, Wayne.
Hello, my friend.
Hey,
How are
bud.
you?
Good. What's going on, Wayne?
Different day, different disaster. Once again, the industrial media complex strikes again. I had to watch disgusting ESPN all day talk about terroristic threats and domestic terrorism. How many businesses were burned down by these right-wing protesters? How many lives were destroyed? How many places were rendered inhabitable? So a few people stormed the Congress, and now all of a sudden, everything that's happened all summer is swept under the rug. And it was all about all day on ESPN how black people, if it had been black persons, they would have been gunned down and massacred. It's so disgusting where the media has gone in this country. It literally makes me sick to my stomach, and there's just no relief in sight. And I even see Fox starting to swing that way in their coverage, and it's just unbelievable. What assault comes next when Joe Forgetful Biden comes into office and uses this pretext to strip away our First Amendment rights?
Yep. Yeah.
Strip away Second Amendment rights to protect from erectionists and all these other, terms that they're going to come up with. We're seeing the beginning of possibly a second civil war because people are pushed to their breaking point and they're sick of it. Everybody's had enough.
Yeah, Wayne, look, what I have repeatedly said on the show, I disagree with the violence that occurred in the Capitol yesterday, storming the Capitol. My fear is exactly what you just said, man, that it's going to be utilized to be turned back on Republicans. By the way, Republicans who are out there already saying, we're so sorry, they're all being apologists for a fraction of people who went rogue, who they're saying we don't approve of yet. I think the unfortunate part may be is that what that, hey, let's all unify now translates into is let's submit to the will of the Democrats, and that scares the absolute hell out of me. Gavin in Fort Myers. Hey, Gavin.
Hey, Trey. I would definitely second exactly what that caller just said. It scares the crap out of me. And I think to get back to the media, this kind of is the perfect storm, because if you look at Democrats' approach to dealing with or just their interactions with Republicans, whether it be elected officials and or the media. During Bush, it was only animosity towards the president himself. President Bush is dumb. He's stupid. He's this. He's that. When Obama was elected, then it just became just dismission and silencing of people that disagree with Obama. You know, you don't like Obama's policies because you're racist. But in Trump, there's been such a fast escalation in the rhetoric. First, it was just animosity towards the president and supporters, people that voted for Trump. But now it's outright hostility to all Republicans. And to echo what the other callers have said, I think that the day is fast coming where it's literally going to be open season on conservatives. Not to mention the fact that with all the regulatory power the Democrats are going to have, you know, come a couple of weeks from now, they can go after the Second Amendment. They can disarm us. They can silence us. They can pass.
So that,
I mean, it scares the crap out of me.
Yep. So
this whole violence isn't the answer thing. I feel like a lot of us are going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place because I don't think, I agree with you. I don't think, the vast majority of conservatives just want to be left the hell alone. Don't take my stuff, like you so aptly said.
Thank you.
But I think clearly there's an animus that's going to be coming after us very soon that is unlike anything we've ever seen. And I think we're doomed regardless of what happens. I've got dark.
Well, yeah, look, though,
I
but
don't think
remember,
there's any
we're in the
right
moment. Gavin, to reiterate a little bit of what I talked about yesterday, after George W. Bush, Republicans were told you will never have another Republican in the White House again. The demographics just are not in your favor. We've been told.
I remember those words exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here. The only, if there's silver lining, there, I'm telling you, I think we will start to see some. If you know what Democrats do, or any, generally speaking, when parties take all power, is the pendulum just swings too far and the American public rejects it. And there's a whole lot of areas to really break that apart, including the fact that Raphael Warnock, who was just elected in Georgia, he only has 2 years. And the fact that you've got Joe Manchin, there's all of these other parts that will play into how far Democrats decide to take it. I hope I don't eat these words or have to remove my foot from my mouth. I don't know if I can say that. All I'll say is I hope Joe Biden does not try to pull executive orders that directly affect the First or Second Amendments. And if he does, that's a massive problem. He's got to ask himself, though, as he watched people arm up all summer long, is that something he wants to do? And with regards to the First Amendment, I fear how Democrats have been talking about enacting hate speech laws at the federal level. Remember, hate speech is nothing more than an opinion, and it's your opinion, my opinion, that'll get shot down first. Let's return to Rich Kolko about we got the Capitol Hill Police chief resigning, and we'll talk to him about everything that unfolded yesterday at the Capitol from his perspective as well. I'm going to get on a political consultant out of Georgia, too, to talk about exactly that. We'll be right back. This is The Drive.
92.5 Fox News.
Most people that buy their own health insurance think once they have chosen their ACA